Hello, everyone. This is John Farn with the Irrigation Association. Thanks for joining us. I'm here with Jessica Ahlstrom with the City of Bozeman, who is the chair of our SWAT Promotions Working Group. Hello, Jessica. How are you?
Hi, John. Good. How are you?
Good. And we're both joined by Lisa Pace with Colorado Springs Utilities. Lisa, we are here to officially notify you that your Trade Allies program has won the 2020 SWAT, let me get this right, the Industry Partnership Award. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. We were very excited to learn that we won that. Thank you so much.
Very good. So that's what our conversation is about today. So now we get all that out of the way, right? You won the award. Hurrah. Congratulations. Let's talk about first the award in the program. So Jessica, you are the chair of the SWAT Promotions Working Group. SWAT is Smart Water Application Technology. It's been around for a few years. Last year was the first awards we gave out. Let's talk a bit about the Industry Partnership Award and what it's trying to accomplish. So you'll talk about what is this award?
Yeah, thanks, John. So the SWAT Industry Partnership Award is a new initiative. So this is the second year that we are awarding this to a utility. And the idea behind this award is really just to engage water providers and recognize outstanding programs, specifically as they pertain to working with, the irrigation industry and promoting smart irrigation technologies.
Excellent. So Lisa, you're with Colorado Springs Utilities. How long have you been with Colorado Springs Utilities?
I have been at Utilities for 7 years.
7 years. All right. And what is your job there?
So I am a senior water conservation specialist. So
Okay.
I manage all of our irrigation related rebates, which include paper rebates for residential and commercial customers, as well as I help with our education for customers, and then I lead the education and partners with our green industry or landscape professionals.
Excellent. And I see you're at home working right now. You're back in the office back and forth, right? A few days in, a few days out. You guys phasing back into being in the office now?
We are slowly phasing back in. We have a demonstration garden, so we constantly have people coming to the garden, and then we actually have a conservation center that shows ways people can save water and energy inside and outside their house. And the building is still closed, but we are working at phasing back to the office and getting those doors open again so we can re-engage more with our customers.
Good. Good for you. Jessica, I'm going to throw it off to you. Do you have any questions to start things out with, Lisa?
Well, for starters, as the water conservation manager in Bozeman, I pretty much want to do exactly what Lisa's doing in Colorado Springs. But other than that, I'm excited to hear more about the program, and I don't have any specific questions, but John, if you don't, maybe we could start off with just asking kind of an overview of what this program is before we jump into the details.
Perfect. So
All right,
talk about the Trade Allies program, right?
Yes.
Okay, go for it. So what is this program?
So a Trade Allies program really is kind of an umbrella term for a lot of different efforts that we're trying to do. So one of the efforts is working with our local landscapers to provide education that they want that focuses on using water efficiently in the landscape. So we have always had good relations with our landscapers or with the landscape professionals in our community. And we just brought them in to ask them how we could work better together. And one of the first things they said was local and low cost education. That was one thing that they felt that they really needed. They felt that the industry itself is such a revolving door in terms of people that come in and work for a summer or two and then leave. And so having something that would allow somebody to make it more of a profession and long-term effort, they wanted support in, and we wanted to see that happen as well. So we did the educational piece, which consisted of, I believe, 5 Irrigation Association classes since 2018, and an additional 7 or 8 what we call green industry coupon class or landscape professional coupon class, which is kind of another effort that we have under this Trade Allies umbrella. And so our coupon class, what we do is we invite anybody who's a landscape professional. So it could be City of Colorado Springs Park and Rec. It could be people who work at our local campuses and universities, to contractors that are in the field all the time. We wanted to have a class that if they came to it, we would give them a $500 coupon good towards a fish irrigation product at local suppliers. So again, we met with our suppliers and we met with several landscape companies, and we worked out the details. How would this work? How much does it need to be? What can we give you a coupon for? So the coupon is good towards heads with pressure regulation in the stem or check valves, or specific nozzles. More so the match precipitation rotary spray nozzles is mainly what it pertains to. But then we also threw in things like pressure gauges, which are crucial for checking the efficiency of an irrigation system. So it doesn't give us a direct water savings, but it's something we thought that a lot of contractors don't carry around with them. That if they did,
another tool to use, you know.
Yeah, if they did, that we could have a much better effect in terms of understanding how well the systems were working.
Right.
So we worked with them. We created a list. The contractors all signed a contract with us that they would redeem the coupon at their store, give that contractor a credit, and then they would invoice us for those totals. So we had to go out, meet with those suppliers, and get those contracts and agreements in place before we launched the coupon. And we actually had them come to a mock presentation, and they came and sat in and gave us feedback, and then we rolled with it.
How long has this program been in place? Real quick, and then you go, Jessica. Sorry,
So,
I tramp it all over you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 2019 was the first year that we did it.
Okay, great. Go, Jessica.
Oh, I just had a quick question. So is it the supplier, you said, that invoices the utility directly then?
Yeah, so we have we had contracts with 5 major suppliers: CPS, SiteOne, Ewing, DBC, and Horizon. And what they would do is every month they would assemble all of their coupons and the invoices, and then they would send us one large invoice, and then I would pay them directly for that invoice. But so the contractor gets the markdown at the point of sale, and then we pay those suppliers once a month.
So it was, you kind of talked about, you know, how this program came to be, kind of an umbrella program, some of the goals you wanted to achieve. Let's talk about, you know, not that there was any huge problems in your service areas, but what was kind of the impetus to really get this off the ground that you guys were trying to accomplish? Was it customer behavior? Was it contractor, you know, more thinking about what's being installed, incentivizing, you know, what was that? What was that kind of impetus?
So I would say there's a few different things that all kind of came together at once. One is, since 2015, I've run our irrigation audit program where we go out and perform audits for customers for free of charge. And then we give them reports on the top 5 ways that they can conserve. And almost automatically, you know, the top 5 were things like install a rain sensor, change your scheduling, fix your leaks, perform maintenance. I mean, it was just pretty robotic what we were telling people. And so we felt that we were telling this directly to the customer, and oftentimes we would invite the contractor with us to have this experience and review these things on site with us. But we keep coming across the same problems. And we realized that us going out and meeting with every individual customer would take us years and years and years. And by the time we work through every customer, you know, with the rollover and how our community changes so much, we would have brand new customers we'd have to do it all over again with. So we wanted to do something that was more of a train the trainer approach, where we would be working with the people who are doing this day in and day out, do this for a profession, and are really servicing our shared customers. So we wanted to have a bigger impact with the limited time that we do have available. So that's kind of what got it going, the audits, and then this idea of we needed to make a bigger wave. With the time and the efforts and the resources we have, we need to impact people faster. And doing it one customer at a time wasn't getting us there.
That's great. That's really innovative. So you said that you host IA, like Irrigation Association, educational classes, as well as this class specifically in order to receive a coupon. Is that right?
We do, yeah. We've done the Advanced Irrigation Maintenance and Design twice. We've done Certified Irrigation Technician, Certified Irrigation Contractor, and we were just getting ready to do the DRIP class this month, and we had to postpone that. But basically, I pick usually 2 classes to do around President's Day, and we'll host either 2 to 3 days of straight classrooms. And for those classes, it's usually a shared cost. So we ask either the contractor to just buy the book, or it's a very minimal cost. So we're talking $30 or something small like that. But most of the classes, like the advanced irrigation design and management, we pay for all of it and provide the books. And this is, again, just our costs and the effects that we're seeing. So I think our first year we spent about $15,000 on education, and we found that we were impacting over 2,600 customers. So that's about a rate of $6 per customer is what they would be paying for that service. And I felt that that was a much better, more sustainable effort than, you know, for them to pay $6, that's probably a phone call with me for like 15 minutes or something, right? So for that investment and the impact it was having to the number of customers that we were reaching through this group, I felt that it was worth our cost. And to try to really minimize the cost on the contractor's behalf, because ultimately they're still paying their guys to be there. So it's going to cost them a lot more than it costs us to host these classes for them. So we wanted to make it really an easy decision to send people. And because of that, we were seeing somewhere between 35 and 65 registrants per class. For Irrigation Association, they thought that was a little crazy. Katie had to ask me several times if I was confident that's what we would get. And we didn't always get those numbers. One year we had a snowstorm during the event, and I think it dropped from 40 to about 20 people who actually showed up. But we do what we can and have those classes, and the contractors really seem to enjoy them and be thankful.
Well, let's talk about that real quick, not to interrupt, but you said you've gotten feedback. How has the response been among your customers who are, you know, I can see your customers as your audience for this program, as well as your customers as well, kind of overall. How's the response and feedback been on the program?
I think it's been really good. You know, so many times we'd go on those audits and we talk to the customer and they'd be like, why are you telling me you need to talk to the contractor? I don't know how to use that thing in my garage, right? If it was a residential homeowner, it was kind of the approach they would have. Or if it was a commercial homeowner, they would just be like, well, I will send this to my contractor and he will ask you if he has any questions. So from the customer point of view, it makes a lot of sense for us to work directly with the contractor. To try to improve kind of the local philosophy around how water is used in the landscape. So I think both the customers and the contractors who have participated have been, one, really excited to have this right here in town for them, but to also just be engaged a lot more into what's happening in the water scene. So almost before every class, I get up and do a 15 to 20 minute quick update on water and where we stand and kind of future outlook. And for us, this relationship has been really important because we just passed some new regulation this year. And so we actually went back and contacted those people that had been to our classes, that had been engaged with us, and had them give feedback on the regulation before it passed. So getting the people that are most impacted by the regulation that's occurring, and it's going to continue to occur now into the future. We're going to see the restraints on water get tighter and tighter. But to have them have a say is really important. And I think boosts that relationship that allows the customer, when they say to the contractor, well, you know about the new WaterWise rules. And they say, oh yes, Lisa told me about it last winter. You know, having those things in place really help sell the full, or create the full picture.
Do you see this? Good. I'm sorry, Lisa, Jessica. I'm gonna put a button in my mouth and just cut us off. And yeah, I'm sorry. I keep jumping over you. Go ahead, Jessica.
No, that's okay. I was just gonna make a comment that it's really neat. It sounds like you've been able to kind of leverage the contacts you've made through this program into developing almost like a bigger conversation, you know, about everything from, you know, regulation changes to changes in the Trade Allies program. That's really neat. And, you know, I had another question too. I was wondering, so for the coupon specific class, could you tell us a little bit about what that entails and if that's kind of like a curriculum that Colorado Springs utility staff developed, or what does that look like?
Yeah, so it's really, I call it the intro, the 101 to irrigation, water-wise irrigation practices and water management. So I looked at it from the point of view of everything I didn't know as a contractor that I should have known as a contractor. And so we talk about, one, we did develop it, but we have also, myself and the other irrigation specialist, Lance Ackerman, we've been to several IA classes and have both worked in the industry as well. So we kind of created what can we tell somebody in an hour and a half to 2 hours that's really going to help them use water more efficiently. So we break it into scheduling. Well, we start off with value of water. Why do you care? And for us locally, it's really because about 30% of the consumption, the whole consumption for the community goes outdoors and goes to the landscape. And contractors really help manage the majority of that. So it's in their hands to help us use this water wisely. And then from there, we get into specifics such as scheduling, and we go over basically MAD techniques. So understanding your soil type, your rooting depth, your exposures, your precip rate, how much should you apply based off of that soil holding moisture capacity, and how frequently should you be applying it. So we really hit on scheduling a lot here in Colorado Springs. We have very, very sandy soils, we have decomposed granite, and we have clay. So you have to understand that soil relationship to the water consumption and needs in order to schedule properly. And then from scheduling, we get into efficient equipment, and we also talk about rebates, and we show case studies. So, you know, there's one of them I like to talk about where it's a rain sensor. Had this one property had their rain sensor working, it would have saved them $761 for the month of May. Right, so we show them case studies for each of these different efficient products that we have or that we rebate to help them sell it to their customers and be able to talk from that water savings perspective. And then we get into water management. So what tools or techniques are out there to help you use water that your site needs? And how do you go about understanding that and judging that? So it's really those different areas combined is the class, and it's really, really hard to get through all that material in an hour and a half. But we created it. Lance and I would be willing to share to anybody that would like a sneak peek or like to see it. And it's something that we created on our own, and then we vetted. We vetted with the local landscapers and with all the suppliers before we rolled it out. So we made sure that it pertained to them and met their needs, but also reinforced the value of water and the water saving ethic that we need to have as a community.
What is the future plans of the program? Are you guys looking to continue this for years to come? Was this a one-time deal? What are your plans?
So ultimately, we do want this program to have a bit of a market transformation piece. When we look at rebates and how we're reaching people, one of the things we did is we asked the suppliers, what is the current market saturation for something like an efficient nozzle or heads with check valves and pressure regulating stem? And the answer we got was less than 30%. So we decided that we wanted to try to influence the point of sale more, and we're hoping that this program is going to produce that. Now, here locally in the state of Colorado, they just passed a water sense legislation, which now requires heads that have pressure regulation.
Correct.
So we're not really going to be able to track that very well. However, we are going to continue it for one more year, and with the current product that we have, and then I think we'll evolve, and maybe we'll move into smart controllers or other water savings aspects like flow sensors or even native turf conversion, which is one of the rebates that we offer as well.
Yeah, and it's on new sales. So there's a lot of, of course, the new systems going in are going to have the pressure regulation. A lot of retrofit opportunities out there for existing irrigation systems to have those nozzles installed, which, could have a lot of savings opportunities, efficiency opportunities, et cetera. So there's a lot of opportunities there, even with that legislation in place. Incentives for individuals to, be doing that.
Well, and I kind of go beyond that too, because I think that you know, as a contractor, I was a contractor for 15 years before I came over to utilities. And as a contractor, you have to understand what you're selling and why.
Yep.
And you have to believe in it. And if all you had was that experience with that one nozzle or whatever, then you start to just you know, cross things off your list of what you're willing to use. And we saw a lot of that when we went out and did the audits. And the regulation is going to get tighter and tighter, and more of these things are going to become standard and required for new installs especially. So we want people to understand the nuances and the science and the techniques around how to use that product and be more successful. And those are some of the hurdles that we just saw. Early adapters that tried some of the first round of nozzles that came out may not have had great success, or maybe they didn't turn up the run times long enough. So finding those situations where we're going to enhance you know, the contractor's experience as well as the experience for our customers is what we're trying to do by using product that we really believe in.
Yeah. Jessica, any other questions?
One more question.
Yeah, go for it.
Lisa, I remember in your application for the award, you had included some information about that coupon class, and there was a reference to a water budget calculator. And I'm wondering if you have anything to add on that. I'm just curious what that looks like.
All right, so we have two tools we like to talk about in the water management section. The first is a water budget calculator, which takes a historical, I like to work in IWR, which is irrigation water requirements, which accounts for effective precip and irrigation efficiency. And we take that number and we divide it based off of historical averages month by month. And so in this Excel form that we have available on our website, all you have to do is type in your square footage of turf grass, native plant beds, native turf, plant beds, annual area, whatever it might be. You type that in and it'll automatically calculate how much water you should use each month. And so our customers have access to how much water they've used about 24 hours later. So either the customer could share that water consumption, or the contractor gets a consent form where they can retrieve that information themselves. That would allow them to basically look at pretty close to real-time data on how much water they're actually consuming and compare it to something like the water budget calculator, which is an average for the year. The second Excel spreadsheet that we like to share with the contractors is what we call a HUA, the historical water use analysis. And it's the same concept. You just enter in the square footage of the various types of landscape material that you have. But this time it's actually going to compare it to their consumption by month, by year, since 2012. Our new spreadsheet goes 2012 to this year. But so that allows you to put the consumption by month and compare it to the weather by month, and it takes into account the landscape composition. So it does a really nice job of just comparing theoretical water use to actual water use, and then try to identify trends. You know, maybe you're watering too hot and heavy in the spring or in the fall because you forget to change your system, your run times come September. So it just allows us to look at that site, compare it to actual data, and help diagnose where they're at in terms of watering too much, watering too little. Because when it comes to installing something like a smart controller, one of the things we like to talk about is you really have to know if you're underwatering or overwatering to begin with. If you're underwatering, you could increase water consumption.
Yep.
So doing something like a HUA up front will help you and your customers understand the water savings potential for your site. So
that's great.
Yeah, that's where I geek out. So that's kind of my baby. The HUA and the water budget calculator are two pieces I've spent a lot of time on, and really enjoy talking about that, because as a contractor, that wasn't something that was even on my radar. Mm-hmm. You know, I just wanted to make sure I didn't have leaks and I didn't have a lot of water going down the gutter. When in fact, we're getting to a place where water is so precious that we want to, you know, maintain a healthy landscape, but we want to also make sure that we're not wasting a lot of water.
So we're going to have, go ahead, Jessica.
I was just going to say that's great. And, you know, in Bozeman, we've seen our program's pretty new, relatively speaking, and we've seen that some smart controller rebates when we're tracking water use and normalizing, before and after installation, we've been seeing the same thing, that if you're a deficit irrigator, you actually increase. And so we're tackling that now. Like, how do we, make sure that we're actually going to see water savings and have that education component kind of, from the outset, so that, customers can better understand whether or not they really need that controller. So that's great.
Well, and for us, we actually have a problem with deficit watering. So about 1 in 4 residential customers aren't watering or aren't watering more than 8 inches. So for us, there's a lot of communication about, water is expensive and it's going to continue to increase in price. And we want to see landscapes thrive. And to do so, we have to manage the water we're putting down and make every drop count. If we don't, it's just going to cause increased abandonment of landscapes, which do not add value to our community. And because we're a community-owned utility, it's really important to us that the community kind of maintains its level of livability and attractiveness to all of us that are in it. So it's really important for us to just balance that. You don't want to overwater, but you also want to have a healthy landscape that's adding value to our community.
That could be the soundbite for the Irrigation Association too, Lisa. You hit the nail on the head for that. So we're gonna put all this information at swatirrigation.org about your program, about the award. Is there any information on your website you can direct people to if they're more interested in this program?
We don't actually have the Green Industry Program listed on the website, okay, since we don't direct a lot of customers there. But I would say if anybody's interested, they can email me, lpace@csu.org, and I'd be happy to send it to them.
So what we'll do is we'll put all that information up at swatirrigation.org then, all that information. So if people have more questions, they can just reach out to you via the swatirrigation.org website then. Good. Well, Lisa, congratulations. This is exciting. I'm sorry we're not in Las Vegas to give this award to you personally. Because this is usually given out at Water Smart Innovations, and we're recording this early, but this is going to be announced on October 28th. So this is when this video is going to be live, and it's going to be announced at one of Water Smart Innovations, one of their presentations. So anyway, congratulations. You will be getting an award. We will be mailing it to you directly. So be on the lookout for that. Once you get it, take a picture of it with you, and we can promote that as well. So Jessica, any final thoughts?
No, just congratulations to you and your team. And yeah, I think that this is going to be really great information to have available to other people like you and me.
Exactly. So Lisa, thanks a lot. Really appreciate your time. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. We're really honored to receive this award.